Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring your favorite characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Become a supporter today for just $1 and help decide next week's build, with more benefits coming soon. It's also dedicated to everyone who subscribes to my channel. I wouldn't do any of this without you guys. Thank you. So I have a weird one for you guys today. It's Detective Frank Drebin, top cop from the Special Unit Police Squad. I love Police Squad. I'm happy it helped create the Naked Gun movies, but I miss the show. Frank is a little difficult to understand, and because of this build is going to be kind of odd. Frank appears to be a lovable goofball who barely notices when things happen around him and is an idiot. Or is he? If you watch the movies as much as I have, you've noticed there are two Franks. One that is a person that I've already described, the other is the opposite. This Frank is a cunning fighter who follows his gut and can pay attention to the smallest detail, and always takes down his foes. And yes, I know the last two guys you accidentally backed over with your car, but you know what? They still count. So what the hell are we going to do about this? Simple. I'm going to do what I always do. Make a build that has all the abilities and make you do all the hard work. Roleplay, people. It's a wonderful thing. Also, here's a suggestion for a comedy character or a campaign. A character mishap table. When a character fails a skill check, something can happen to them depending on the severity of the failure. When you fail, an embarrassing moment, funny moment, or a WTF moment can happen, such as getting distracted by something shiny when doing a perception check, a door smacking you in the face when you break it open, and so forth. Seriously, Frank is a fun character for both players and DMs. You can add a little lightheartedness to a dark campaign, or make a funny campaign end with pained laughter. It's up to you. For this build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide to Everything. We're using standard point array to make things easy for you should you use point buy or roll for stats, and we are multi-classing, so keep minimums in mind. We'll start things off with Dex at 15. Your main weapons are ranged, and you are an acrobat for some reason, so Dex is needed. Charisma will follow at 14. You're a lovable goofball. Enough said. Wisdom will be 13. You can't notice when you're shooting your own car or when you're standing too close to a ledge, but you have amazing insight. Con will be next at 12. You're the hero, you take damage and just keep going. Strength will be 10, and we're dumping intelligence. You're actually not dumb, comparably to everyone else, but we can fix this later. Frank is a human. Fair and human grants you a free feat and skill. Place +1 into Dex and +1 into Wisdom. For your free feat, Crossbow Expert allows you to ignore reloading properties with crossbows you are proficient with. Being within 5 feet of an enemy does not impose disadvantage on ranged attack rolls, and you can fire a hand crossbow as a bonus action when you make an attack roll. Please remember, you still need to be able to load said crossbow once it's been fired. Time for my favorite part. If your DM uses firearms, then go with the gunner feat. But just so you know, Wizards of the Coast firearms are bad. Really, only the modern firearms are good. The Renaissance era firearms suck. You know who has good ones? Kobold Press. Check out Tome of Heroes for all of their weapons, because they're all good. For your free skill, go ahead and grab Perception. You do sometimes notice small details. For background, let's grab the skills Insight and Investigation. Yeah, I just gave you an intelligence skill. We'll fix it later. Let's start off with some basic cop training and go with Fighter. You now have proficiency in all weapons, including crossbows. Take the skills Acrobatics and Athletics. Level 1 fighters start things off with a fighting style. Archery adds 2+ to attack rolls made with ranged weapons. Second Wind lets you heal yourself after taking damage with a bonus action. You can now heal yourself 1d10 plus fighter level once per short or long rest. Let's jump classes really quick. Let's see. You have hand-to-hand combat abilities, wear suits all the time and no armor, and can land on your face and take no damage. Yeah, you see where this is going, don't you? Level 1 monks have unarmored defense. Now when not wearing armor, your AC is 10 plus Dex plus Wisdom. Martial arts gives you unarmed fighting. Well, everyone has unarmed fighting, but yours is good. Your unarmed strikes can now be Dex based instead of strength. You can make an unarmed attack with a bonus action after making an attack. And finally, your unarmed strikes actually have a damage dice. This dice starts off at a D4 but will be upgraded later on. Level 2 fighters gain Action Surge. You can now grant yourself a free action once per short or long rest. Level 3 fighters receive their subclass. You're charismatic and have a good wisdom, so we're going with Samurai, found in Xanathar's Guide. Starting out, you get a new skill. Grab Persuasion, because for some odd reason, you still have a job after the Shakespeare in the Park incident. I told you, I've watched the Naked Gun movies a lot. If I can get a little reference in and be clever about it, I'm gonna be a geek and do it. Fighting Spirit allows you to give yourself advantage on all weapons, with a bonus action. When you do this, you also gain 5 temporary HP, and you can do this 3 times per long rest. Level 4 fighters earn our first ability score improvement. Place this into Charisma. I know you only have one Charisma skill, but seriously, how do you still have a job and how does Police Squad still exist? The amount of damage you have done to a single building can blow the relief budget for an entire city. Level 2 monks have unarmored movement. Now when not wearing armor, your speed is increased. Your total movement now is 40 feet. Ki gives you ki points equal to your monk level that you can spend to perform special moves. Flurry blows just cost 1 ki point, and now when you attack, you can make 2 unarmed strikes with a bonus action. Patient defense turns dodge into a bonus action for the cost of 1 ki point. And Step of the Wind lets you turn dash or disengage into a bonus action, and then doubles your jump distance, all for the cost of 1 ki point. Level 3 monks gain Deflect Missiles. This reduces damage you receive from ranged attacks. When you are hit, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage by 1d10 plus your dex plus monk level. If you can reduce the damage to 0 and have an empty hand, you can catch the projectile and throw it back. You also gain your subclass. Kensai Monk, also found in Xanathar's, improves your crossbows. Path of the Kensai gives you Kensai weapons. These are special monk weapons you can have that lack the special or heavy properties. At this level, you can choose 2 weapons, 1 ranged and 1 melee. For this, take a hand crossbow and whatever melee weapon you want. Agile Parry turns any Kensai weapon you are holding into a defensive weapon. Making an attack with an unarmed strike while holding your Kensai weapon, you can now add +2 to your AC while you hold the weapon. Kensai Shot lets you add damage to your ranged Kensai attacks with a bonus action. When you hit with a ranged attack with a Kensai weapon, you will now deal 1d4 extra damage. Level 4 monks can now fall on their face and take less damage. Slow Fall lets you reduce the falling damage as a reaction by 5 times your monk level. Quickened Healing lets you heal yourself by spending 2 ki points and letting you roll a martial arts dice and adding your proficiency bonus. You also earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Dex. Level 5 monks receive extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action, 4 times with a flurry of blows, or 6 times with an action surge and flurry of blows. Stunning Strike allows you to stun an enemy you hit by spending 1 ki point. They must now make a con save or be stunned until the end of your next turn. Focus Aim lets you turn a miss into a hit by spending up to 3 ki points, adding 2 to the roll per point spent. Your martial arts dice are now a d6. Level 6 monks gain Ki Empowered Strikes and Magical Kensai Weapons. Now damage from your unarmed strikes and Kensai weapons are now magical. Death Strike lets you deal an extra martial arts dice when you hit with a Kensai weapon, and you spend 1 ki point once per turn. Your unarmored movement is now 45 feet. Finally, you can now have a 3rd Kensai weapon. Anything you want, go for it. Level 5 fighters gain nothing because extra attack doesn't stack till later on. Upside, you get more health. Level 6 fighters earn another ability score improvement. Let's grab a feat. Lucky gives you 3 luck points per long rest. You can spend these to gain an extra d20 when you roll an attack, skill check, or saving throw, choosing which d20 you want to use. You can also spend these when another creature attacks, giving them another d20 which you can then choose which one they use. You should understand this does not give you advantage or another creature disadvantage. You just get to roll another d20. Level 7 fighters now have Elegant Courtier. You now have proficiency in wisdom saving throws, and now when you make a persuasion check, you can add both your charisma and wisdom modifiers to it. Seriously, you need a good persuasion skill. You caused an entire zoo to escape and rampage in Washington, D.C., and you weren't fired. I mean, the town was already full of baboons, so maybe it's the voters' fault on that one. Level 8 fighters earn another ability score improvement. Time for another feat. Since you never seem to take damage or even get hurt, let's grab Tough. You gain a total HP equal to your character level, adding 28 HP at this level, and each level after you gain 2 HP to your total health. Level 9 fighters receive Indomitable. Now when you fail any saving throw, including death saves, you can re-roll them once per long rest. So now if you mess up, you can just change it into a success, or mess up worse. Level 10 fighters gain Tireless Spirit. Now when you roll initiative and have no uses of Fighting Spirit, you regain a use. Yeah, not the best or coolest feature, but next level we get a cool feature. Level 11 fighters can now combine extra attack with extra attack times 2. You can now attack 3 times with a single attack action, or 6 times with an action surge and then combine it with another 2 with Flurry of Blows. Level 12 fighters earn another ability score improvement. Let's fix the intelligence and erase that negative. You now just add no modifier, which I feel fits better for you. Level 13 fighters receive another use of Indomitable. More chances for you not to mess up, or make things even worse. Hey, you try. Our final level is level 14 fighters, and you earn our final ability score improvement. Place this into Charisma, and maybe you can get your job back after the Queen debacle. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 10, Dex 18, Con 12, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 14, Charisma 18. Your total levels are Fighter 14, Monk 6. Let's dive in. Where to start? Let's see. Your damage with crossbows is magical. You ignore loading properties on crossbows. You reduce damage done to you, heal damage, can give yourself 10 temporary HP, give yourself advantage on attacks, can reroll fail saves, have an AC of 16, can add d20s to any dice roll, and your persuasion check is adding plus 12. Downside. Only problem is your fighter subclass is really only to make a good persuasion check. The build is really designed to be a hero who can turn failure into success, or success into failure. You're not amazing, but you're not horrible. Shrug off damage, both physical and damage to your reputation. Thank you for watching. I release a new build each week on YouTube and Spotify, so make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new character. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, where you can vote on next week's new build. Decide between Plague from Dead by Daylight, Decker from Nightbreed, Huggy Wuggy from Poppy's Playtime, or Denji from Chainsaw Man.